I went into to understanding how to design behavior and how to maintain behavior in order to help people with really succeeding in building these habits.
And how do you design that? What's the good way? I'm gonna just jump right in, following up
Yeah,
to the last thing that you said. So how do you design? What's
yeah. So
what's a good way to do that?
yeah, obviously, a lot of smart people has walked this path before me, so I'm naturally very inspired by many authors on the topic, both within psychology, philosophy, business. So I've taken all of the best nuggets from these different authors and then compiled it into a very simple system, which has three components, and um, and I'll happily share them with you and your viewers, Ali. But the three components are: one, if we want to build a behavior consciously that are to become a habit, it needs to be very small because it needs to be something as, it's not interfering with who I am or what I'm already doing. So we need to think really, really small because it doesn't matter how small it is. Because if you repeat this behavior for 365 days, you will have repeated this so many times
Mm.
that it will have made a difference, even if it's a small daily thing.
Can you give an example of that?
I use exercise, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So you could you could run if you think of I want to start running, and you get together with your coach, you design a plan where you are to run 10Ks 2 times a week. Running 10Ks takes like 50 minutes or something like that. Um, and in a busy schedule, if you are to find 50 minutes, it's 2 times a week. It's just gonna be like, okay, then what am I not going to do? And
Mm.
I that's where I then say, okay, 2 times 10, that's 20K. So in my own life, what I do is I run 3K a week every day, 365 days a year, no matter how cold it is here in Denmark.
Mm.
So because 3 kilometers is like 14 minutes, and I can always find 14 minutes. It's much easier to find 14 minutes than it is to find 50 minutes. What I do
Yeah.
personally is I just change my alarm clock to ring 14 minutes earlier in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the habits that I built deliberately. Now I know that 14 minutes might not be small, but it's smaller than the alternative.
Yeah.
One of my big sources of inspiration for working with habits is the American author James Clear. James
Mm.
Clear wrote the book Atomic Habits. I think it
Yeah.
came out back in 2017. An amazing book. He was in Copenhagen. I met him, and I got the book from him, signed and everything. And I thought, this sounds really brilliant. I met him in June of 2018. And he
Yeah.
came with his 3 rules that I have nearly adopted every one of them myself. So he is where I got it from to make it small. So he says something that is 2 minutes or less, because then you can fit it into everything, in between. Like when you go for a coffee break at work, you just take a 2 minute longer coffee break and practice whatever it is.
Yeah.
Call your mother, or just sit and meditate, just like close your eyes, collect your thoughts, and then go back to your work, or whatever habit it is that you want to build. And
Mm.
then he also talks a lot about, and that's also number two, he also talks about building streaks. And this is taken straight from also um, Jerry Seinfeld's playbook. He was once asked, "So how come you're such a great comedian?" And his simple answer, Jerry Seinfeld's simple answer was, "I write more material than anyone else." Okay, but how do you do that? I write every day. So he has a big calendar at the same size of this picture behind me, and Jerry with all the 12 months. And what Jerry Seinfeld does when he has written anything on his material, if he has been writing for 1 minute, 10 minutes, 50 minutes, he puts an X on his calendar. And the beautiful thing about what happens when you put these X's in is that you get a streak of, now I've been writing on my material for 5 days, 5 consecutive days, 10 consecutive days, 15 consecutive days. And about at 15, when you have 15 X's in a row, no matter what it is, if it's going for a run, eating an apple a day, reading a book, no matter if it's 1 page or 10 pages, then about 15, 18 X's in a row, days in a row, a funny psychological thing kicks into our minds, is that if I skip 1 day now, I would need to start over on my streak tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I like to be like, I like to go, because we're goal oriented and we just are that in nature, right? So we play to our nature that, I have 18, I want 19, I want 20, I want 21 days in a row. And this is so amazing because it doesn't require any outside influence. There's nobody that needs to call you. There's no app that you need to do. It all works inside your head, and that's why I'm so in love with this concept of building streaks. That it's your own mental picture, and it all resides within yourself. So it's super easy. No matter if you're traveling, if you have triplets or another busy life, you know. I say triplets because you do, right?
I'm not trying to make that as a streak though, to continue to have.
No, I think you're good. You've really contributed a lot there. Contributed more than me. I only have 2 kids.
That's already amazing, my friend. I'm sorry but go ahead. Please.
Absolutely. So the funny thing about the building streaks is that we play to our own psychology of achievement, um, and that's and what we can do independently of other people is much easier to sustain, because we don't need anybody to pat our shoulder, or we don't need to have any likes, because we work with this in our minds all the time, and that's the power of building streaks.
So it's like creating like a momentum, like an internal momentum, like psychological momentum as well. And the more you build on that, the more you want to maintain that momentum as well. Yeah. Um,
Absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely. I can give you an example.
yeah, please.
When I met James Clear in Copenhagen, I took his book and I'm a very slow reader, but I went back home and I read it in 3 or 4 days. It went really fast over the day, over a few days in June of 2018 when I met him. But already the same day that I had met him, and he had explained in this seminar his how he worked with habits, I thought, this is really simple. I want to put it to the test to see if it really works to build habits the way he says it can be done. So what I did is I followed his recipe. So something small, something that you can easily repeat every day. I then decided, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do the plank, and a small, simple exercise that doesn't require any fitness material. It doesn't require to a change of clothes, no shoes, no
Uh,
weights. It's a very simple thing. So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna do the plank, and I'm just gonna follow his recipe. It's something small. I'm gonna set the eggs every day, and so I have, besides a few days of illness, the past coming up to June of this year, it's been 6 years. I've been doing it every day for 6 years now.